Hello fellow YouTubers, Bear Prepper here. I promised I was going to go over my IBC tank to show how I've got it set up. Right now we just refilled it with the water hose. But what we've done, we've put a couple little slits in here. Oops. Just to have some airflow. And this caps off the top. We took that little bungee out. And we just put that on top. That's plenty of airflow to stop the suction of the tank from coming down. Then, and this system works great. We have a 2-inch threaded cap, and there's no threads on this. We just use a solid reducer. For a 3/4 inch to a spigot. This comes with the drip system, and we bought a drip system kit for vegetables. And so you can buy it piece by piece, but we weren't sure what we needed, so I went ahead and just bought the system. Now this is the timer mechanism that I'm testing, and it works wonderfully. I talked to the company, and they said you needed a minimum of 25 psi in order to make it work. Well, what you need to look for is you need valve, and these are valve water timers. So it plugs in, and once it reaches the time, it sends an actuator to this and opens the valve. As long as you have a valve one, it'll work with your IBC tank. So we took off the 25 psi pressure regulator that comes with the drip irrigation system because there's no reason for it. This IBC tank does not put more than 25 psi. You can buy this with just one hose extension off of it. I went ahead and got 2 because once I do the rest of the garden, I may decide that I want them watered at different intervals. So, and you can add 2 more. There are actually 4. I don't know if you can see that. There are actually 4 hoses that you can hook up to it, or 4 drip systems. It's really easy to set up. You set your clock, you set your day, you set your time, your run time, how often, and then you have a manual override so that you can test it, and an auto. So we did test it with a manual override to make sure, and I only set it for 6 minutes morning and 6 minutes night, so I'll have to see how it works. And then this drip hose here, the solid hose, comes with your drip irrigation system when you buy it, and we have it coming down. And I'm using my phone because I forgot my camera. And then here where we bring the vehicles through, I went ahead and buried it so that the vehicle wouldn't run over it. Then when you get to this point, and I don't know if I can find it or not, let me think how far close it is to it. Here it is. Okay, so I buried it, as you can see. There it is. So that black pipe comes all the way through here, and you use a little punch valve, and you put in your black rubber hose to whatever length you need it, and you just stick it in. And then you put in an adapter, and I've got a little stake in the ground. And then I hook my brown drip hose. I've heard a lot of negative about these drip hoses here, where they're placed at intervals, but I actually like it. So I'm just have that in there just so that it doesn't pull on it if somebody steps on it, and it kind of keeps it out of the ground a little bit. And here's my asparagus. It's been being watered for 2 weeks, and my grape looking really good. And all you do is you string this out down your row, and then you put a cap on the end. And and I've got it buried, sort of. See, it's just a little cap on the end. And it will water everything all the way down. And I have 4 rows set up that way. These are my asparagus and my grapes. They're doing great. And then I went to the store and bought sweet potatoes. And as you can see, in 2 weeks, sweet potatoes are coming up. So we're going to have some sweet potatoes. But you see how the water drips in? It's really wet underneath. So there's less evaporation with this. And since the asparagus is a forever plant, I didn't put any shut-off valves on it. But since this is on the same line where the sweet potatoes are, what I did was install a shut-off valve so that I can shut off the rows after it that don't need watering forever. And I can just turn it off and just run the asparagus. And I have 2 of those connected here. And then here's the rest of the extra tubing. That what you can do in the wintertime, you just pull this down, open it up and let it drain. You can also pull this down and hook another length on here so that I can run it all the way up the garden. And we have not seen any issues with it being on a slope. As you can see, it's sloped down. The water is dripping perfectly fine on every single one. Not an issue. I am very pleased with this. And like I said, we've only set it for 6 minutes. The last time we tested it, we let it run continuously. And in an hour, it used about 1 inch of water. So I'm thinking this tank is going to last a really long time, because we're only running it for 6 minutes twice a day. And if you think 1 inch is an hour, that's not too bad at all. So that's how I have my drip system hooked up. This is an Orbit, and it's a valve system. If it doesn't have these valves or the ability to hook these valves up, as you can see they're electronically plugged in, then you don't want to get it. There's an older model of a different type of timer I found, but I can't find them sold anywhere. Most of the valves nowadays are electronic valves. They are not physical valves. And you need a physical valve with your IBC tank. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a PM or post a comment, and I'll answer the best I can. Blessings.